You found the GroomPod. Welcome to our virtual salon. My name is Susie, and I'm your host. I'm a mobile groomer from Seattle, Washington, and anybody who knows me will tell you I love to talk, especially about my job. And one of my favorite people to talk to is my friend and mentor and the co-star of this show, the curator of ingredients, Miss Barbara Bird. Hello, groomers, and welcome to episode 458 of the GroomPod, recorded on September 17th, 2025 in Snohomish, Washington, Greenville, South Carolina, and Atlanta, Georgia. This podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors, Best Shot, Showseason, Precision Sharp, Groomer, and Stasco. And if you'd like to tip your podcasters, you can go to our website, thegroompod.com, and use the donation button to go straight to Barbara, or join us on Patreon to support the show monthly or yearly. This week, we're going to have a special guest on. It's Sandy Gyorgyi, the head of Showseason Grooming, and she's going to be talking about Showseason's history and about what's coming up in the future with the sale of the company to SenPro Co. /Groomer's Choice. So I'm going to run some ads, and then we'll get right on to the interview. Thanks for listening. Let me tell you about Best Shot's newest addition to the Ultramax Pro line. Ultramax Hair Hold is a flexible hairspray that can be layered on for a stronger hold. Ultramax Hair Hold Spray is great, but my favorite new product is called the Max, and I won't groom without it. It's a fragrance-free, ultra-concentrate conditioner and detangler. It reduces drying time and handles undercoat and tangles like magic. Just a few drops in the final rinse or spray it on and dry it in. Contact your favorite Best Shot distributor or learn more online at bestshotpet.com. Grooming success begins with Best Shot in your tub. Made from the best stuff on earth. Did you know that Stasco has come out with a couple of new products? First, there's the Stasco Oatmeal Protein Conditioner. This conditioner provides exceptional body and manageability and super shiny finishes. And it has a wonderful apple scent that I love. Great in the recirculator, too. And they have a new matching protein conditioning spray, dematting, anti-static conditioning, and finishing all in one, just like the original Stasco spray, but with that delicious apple fragrance. Look for these new products at trade shows and your favorite distributors like Cascade Grooming Supplies.
Yeah, so I'll start again. They had a lot of people that wanted to, and I don't want to over explain, but people that make widgets like screws and bolts, they see value in the pet industry, as we all do, right? I mean, we've been in it our whole lives. And so I didn't want to sell to somebody that made something that they don't know what it is, right? You want to go synergistic. And I had no inclination to sell to somebody that made boilers, right?
Right.
But you get those, but you because people are looking for
an in
in the pet industry, and as we all know, it's a good industry, right? So
but they're slicing the pie so thin, like I guess it's keeping up. The growth of the industry is keeping up with all of the little pie slicing going on, but it seems to me that we went from great big juicy pie slices to smaller pieces of the pie.
Yeah.
And everybody wants in on our pie, and they don't know jack shit about our industry, our people, or dogs.
Right. And I give everybody this analogy. So you go to, we're used to our trade shows, the Barkley trade shows, all of them, we've all been to them. And you walk in and there's competitions, there's creative, there's vendors that sell just to groomers. Well, you take yourself out of that and go to like Super Zoo, right? Super Zoo is for every pet food, it's huge and everything. And you walk around with a tag that says groomer. Nobody really paid you any attention because they were like, what can you do? What will you buy? I want a big buyer from the pet store to come, right? Well, for years, we've been ignored, right? And everybody thought there was no value in what we did, but now it's changing. And now now these outside organizations are like, hey, that's pretty good. That's they're selling to professional groomers. That's a heck of an industry. And so you get, antennas up looking.
Interesting comment
Yeah.
about Super Zoo because I very much felt like the groomers were the entertainment.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good too. I mean, and it's, they put the groomers over in this at Super Zoo, they put them over in this other section that you really got to know where you're going to get to it, and it's
Yeah.
like, let's put these guys over here, and then, we won't have to worry about them, and it doesn't get as much traffic. And even though they try, and they do try, when you're walking the show, you have a groomer tag on, they're not as receptive. If you guys, have you noticed that, Susie?
Well, I only went once, but it was so overwhelming and I felt very ignored. And but
Yeah,
of course the competition stage was up there and everybody stopped to look at the competition dogs.
right.
And I think that's where we filled that niche of being entertainment during the trade show.
Exactly. That's exactly it. A lot of those people have never seen creative. They didn't know it existed. So it's a new world for them when they go to a retail like show like that, where you and I, all three of us, are used to it. I mean, if we don't, we'd be more concerned if we didn't see it.
Yeah, I know. I always want to stay till the end so that I get to see that because that's just kind of an incredible and weird part of our
Yeah.
industry, and incredibly weird. Take us back to the beginning. How did you choose the grooming industry?
So it was 1998 when we started, okay, August 1998. I had been with another manufacturer, and they were leaving some crumbs on the table, and I saw the grooming industry and I thought, man, that is huge. That's a growth thing. And another thing is that I noticed was I loved dealing with groomers because they were so personable. They were so nice. They were open to ideas. It was like you got to talk. They weren't, and a lot of them weren't in a hurry. Like, "Duh, duh, duh," a lot of them are, just place my order. But when you're learning, I learned with them, and I'd never experienced that before. So that's when I started thinking maybe we need to start something new.
So then the fact that it was new for groomers to have products designed for us that were made specifically for grooming right about that time that was starting to really evolve, and you kind of were on the forefront of that. I was on the learning part because that's when I started to groom.
Yeah, and then Barbara, I think I went to, I'm harking back to the time that I first met Barbara. It was at the
Colorado.
Colorado trade show, and you and I had what? We had talked via email, maybe?
We had emailed. We
Yeah,
had
and
gotten acquainted. I don't know if I had a question or something,
yeah,
and we had an interaction over email and gotten along real well. And then we landed side by side at the Colorado show, which was slow.
ooh,
So
yeah,
it was really slow.
yeah. We talked.
We had a lot of time.
We did. We talked about everything, and you were giving your class, and you were doing the cocobutapropylbutane, that song.
And I was big into essential oils, and you were all interested in that and bringing more holistic things into the
Yeah,
industry. And yeah, and I did my whole day thing. That was really the blossoming of my speaking career. It really was at the beginning for me as a speaker, although I had already been a groomer for about 20 years. So, I brought an interesting
yeah.
element in there too.
Barbara, the reason I was so interested in what you had to say is now it's obvious, but back then you were talking about calming dogs down
Right.
with aromatherapy, and I thought, what a great that is awesome. There was
Yeah,
nothing like that. Nobody was doing anything. And you were on the forefront of that aromatherapy and you were very strict. And what I love the most about you was when we were talking about other brands versus your stuff, right? You were advocating directly for safety. You were advocating for what you can and can't use in a salon, where everybody else was saying, just put it on the dog, right? Just go for it.
on the paw pads, rub it
Yeah,
right into their feet.
yeah. And you're like, and they're like, and then they're like, oh, can you use it around cats? And you're like, no, you can't use it around cats. And people were like, yes, you can. And Barbara's like, no, you can't, you guys. Let me tell you why. And I remember the conversations, and I learned so much from you about the whole aromatherapy industry. And you were a pioneer in that. You started it.
That's right.
It's that let me tell you why part that sets Barbara apart.
Yeah, exactly. And she was like, there's got to be a natural way to help these dogs on our table. And when they come in and they're freaking out, there's got to be a better way. And she figured it out.
Even then, before behavior management was a thing, I was concerned about behavior management.
Yeah, that was way before Thundershirt, way before Happy Hoodies, way before CBD, way before all the calming techniques that we know now. You were at the
Ah,
forefront of doing it
thank
naturally.
you, my dear.
So kudos to you, my dear.
I remember just that we got along spectacularly.
It was kismet. I said I'm aging myself when I say kismet, but it was it was like I need to hang out with this chick. I really do.
I got to know you. I thought you were a dude, Sandy, because you were head of the company and your name was Sandy, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
that can go either way. And so I thought you were a man, and I was all ready to meet the man, and I was so thrilled when you weren't. It's like, oh, this works for me,
Good. I'm
like,
glad.
yes, I will empower this woman.
Good. You empower so many. You and Susie empower so many just through this podcast, you know?
Ah, thanks.
Great.
So tell me this. As a woman owned business,
Yeah.
when you were starting out, what were some of the challenges you ended up facing that you weren't expecting?
Well, Barbara's right. In the beginning, there weren't very many women. Now, Nature Specialties had Mary Meeks. There were some exceptions, but mostly it was male dominated. So I never thought, oh, that it was gonna be different or pioneering or anything. I just do it. Being a female, you're naturally one of few, right? So there's that. But I didn't really have any obstacles or anything because I just didn't think that if there were, I wasn't going to pay any attention to it.
I know that's the key to you. That's
I love
your
that.
secret sauce. Just like you just let that bullshit go past you.
Yeah, you just got to. In fact,
I got caught up in it a little bit more because I was like a raging feminist in the 70s, and that the situation kind of triggered the male dominance of the industry, and
right.
and to this day, I resent veterinarians being brought in to make decisions about groomers. And nowadays, most of the veterinarians are women, so it's much less of an issue. But nonetheless, there was this thing, especially noticeable at trade shows, that the talking suits were all men.
Yeah,
Like it was men mansplaining shit to women, and all of their stereotypes about less educated women were rampant in the industry and just kind of ruled the marketing.
yeah,
And they just market to us like fools.
right. And you were. Let me. I need to know what's inside the bottle. What are your ingredients? And they would say to
Right.
you, "Why do you want to know? You don't need to know."
Not only that, but this company that you just sold to were the ones, the vice president of which told me your grooming gals couldn't understand a complete ingredient list.
I remember you telling me that. Yep.
Yeah, that was one of the most insulting moments.
It's very insulting. I'll never forget you telling me that. I was like, oh my God. But anyway, and that happened, but you also got it again and
Again and
again and
again.
again by like, and then they've opened it up to not just you, but why do groomers need to
I
know?
know. And when there was a like sales rep, our regional sales rep for Nature Specialties rolled his eyes at me. I mean, huge roll, huge eye roll when I told him I was writing a book on ingredients for groomers. It was, oh, Barbara. Ugh. Like it was like, give me a break. Like, no, we're doing this. You tell us what's in there. I'll teach them how to understand it.
Absolutely.
Let's not get on my journey.
Well, your journey, our roads intercede a lot. They go like this, we cross.
So having my relationship with you was just like a glorious path. It was like a fresh stream of water through the whole thing. Like, if the other stuff got to be too much, I could call you and have a conversation and feel good afterwards and put it away. Because it just like takes continuing to not get triggered, not get triggered, not get triggered. But then you end up shutting down. And
Right.
like you don't want to say things that are going to get that response of like, oh, don't be silly, you don't need to know, or don't worry your little head about that. Excuse me.
Right.
Well, anyway,
You did it.
you were one of the first companies that recognized the marketing value of transparency of ingredients and disclosing your ingredients, and you understood it as an integrity issue.
I did. I said I decided to say what's in it is on it.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever's in, you're going to put it on the dog. So you got to know what's in so that you can put it on.
So this begs the question, is that transparency of ingredients going to still exist with this new situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully I can spread the knowledge further and we can get more disclosures. So that's my goal.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that together. Let's push.
Yeah.
Let's have a little push before you split. And go to the lake forever and ever.
Well, it is nice right about now. I'll see you guys. I'm leaving.
So you picked Groomer's Choice because they were actually a grooming product company.
That's correct. So we all make similar products, right? We have things that they don't have. They have things that I don't have. But I don't have to figure, they don't have to figure out. Now, granted, the pet industry, when you say pet industry, people are like, pet industry. Automatically, they think of PetSmart, they think of Petco, Petland, where they go in and they buy something in Target or whatever. There's a pet aisle where the food is, the toys, and all that other stuff. But very rarely do you get a company that knows what groomers do. And Groomer's Choice has been doing it a while and they know. That synergy was very important to me.
Will you still have an effect on the formulations for a while?
Absolutely. And I want to come out with some new stuff. I mean, I'm not standing still. I'm thinking about moving forward. What else can we do? I mean, Barbara and I had great plans for a project, hint, hint, Barbara, that I would like to continue with. But yeah, I mean, I've always been full of ideas. I don't want to stop.
Good, good news. Great news. Because I remember that project and I'd like to get back to it too.
I know, because it can be really fun.
It's going to be fun. And this industry needs more fun.
we do, and they need more, and they need it from you. They want it from you because you're it. You're the shits, and they got to know that it came from you,
Oh,
and that's what we're going to take care of.
listen, I'm I'm the old shits. I'm not the new shits. And it's an interesting little place where I'm at right now because there's a whole lot of people that know exactly who I am, and then there's like way more that have no idea, and they talk to me like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
It's it that's interesting.
Susie will set them straight.
Oh, you bet. No problemo.
No problemo. The enforcer.
Is it fun formulating shampoos?
It is because you get to try stuff. Um, I'll never forget somebody had the idea. I don't know if you guys remember the pearls. Does anybody remember the floating pearl shampoo?
Oh, yes.
It wasn't our brand, but we made it for somebody, and I thought that is the most interesting thing I've ever seen. It looked cool in the bottle, it kind of had an iridescent pearls in it, but it didn't take off, right? So that's a good example of a formulation you think, wow, this is really, really cool. And the pearls contain some sort of micronutrient or
Yeah,
some sort of
yeah.
molecule that's gonna open up once it hits room temperature in the dog's skin, it's gonna open up. Well, those dang pearls never opened up.
They washed on and then they washed off.
They washed off
And
like
they were
marbles,
just
and I
like
was like, okay,
little
this,
microplastic objects floating in your bottle.
yeah, it was like going down the drain.
And they were dead end.
I could talk for a good while about things tried and not true that
Oh,
didn't
what
work.
else? What else? Give us another one.
Oh, well, the pearl thing. Another thing was making some shampoo scrub. Like putting in. A lot of people do this now. They figured it out. But in the beginning, the sugar just fell to the bottom, and you couldn't. It wouldn't mix properly, and then of course it clogged bathing systems. It was just a mess. And then if you have sugar inside of a surfactant and you don't clean, well, you might as well just call it honey bathing or sugar bathing, because that's what's coming out for the rest of the week until you've got some sort of hot water flood. Anyway, that was a disaster. But the concept was, wouldn't you want to scrub the dog with a little extra abrasive that's gentle, like sugar, right? A
Yeah.
big sugar crystal.
Yeah.
So it made sense on paper, but in reality, it wasn't really effective. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other stuff that didn't work. I can't think off the top of my head, but the pearls are probably number one.
Okay, I got something. You have a gazillion smells, of course, which I am an expert on. How about any smells that didn't work out?
Oh, I have so many, Susie, that didn't work, and for lack of a better word, they were dogs. Let's see. Um, here's my favorite. Okay, and Donna and Lisa at South Park, we were like all talking, and this was like, we're gonna come out with a chocolate cologne, right? Who doesn't like the smell of
Right.
chocolate, right? Love chocolate, right? Okay, well, guess what? When you put chocolate on a pet's coat, it starts to smell like urine as it starts to break down.
Oh
And so
my.
that was a huge failure, huge failure. And we made it for South Park, and they were going to use it in their blueberry packages for Valentine's Day and anniversaries and things like that. And it smelled great, when you sprayed it, and it smelled like luscious chocolate. But then when you got it on the dog's coat, it started to breaking down. You got ozone, you have sunlight, you have environmental issues, and that was nasty. So no chocolate, no dark chocolate.
I had a chocolate product from another company that I used, and I can't remember offhand what it was, but it was just kind of man. And I was, like I was all hip because I'm a big chocoholic, and it just didn't. it didn't smell like urine, but it didn't last. It didn't really make an impression. Unlike sugar cookie. So let's tell us the
Yeah.
sugar cookie journey.
So, well, the sugar cookie is kind of follows along with that groomer's mud that I sell. I put sugar cookie, the cologne itself turns towards amber over time because it has vanilla
Yeah,
in it. Any sugar, any vanilla. So it's like everybody's seen the a vanilla flavoring extract, right? If you've baked with it. And you've also seen the bean, dark, dark, dark
right.
brown. Well, when that goes into a product like a shampoo or a cologne, especially, it's going to brown over time. It's going to turn that amber and that kind of thing. So we were making a shea butter lotion for somebody, and we put the sugar cookie in there, and it was over a weekend. I came in on Monday, and I went, "That what was white is now brown. What happened?" And I looked, and somebody walked by and said, "Well, that looks just like mud." And I said, well, that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it Groomer's Mud because I got a whole big vat of it and I got to sell it. So it's the name stuck and it had the sugar cookie scented there to this day. It still has it in it. And I was like, that's it, you know. But the sugar cookie was so popular that, you know, it's one of those things where you wanted to put it in other applications, like a
Yeah,
lotion, like a cream, you know, that kind of thing. And then the cologne was such a hit, you know, it's a hit, you know, 365 days of the year, but very popular during Christmas.
For sure. What's your most popular shampoo?
Probably the clean shampoo, definitely the blueberry facial, the soothe medicated shampoo. Clarify is I've been shocked at the growth in Clarify shampoo, but those three those would probably be our top three.
I'm surprised True Tearless isn't in there because I don't think a day
It's
goes by where I don't tell somebody to use it.
I think everybody ought to have a gallon, um,
yeah,
because it is the most effective sulfate free, mild, surfactant shampoo that I've ever used. The others don't clean well. True Tearless actually cleans very well and it holds up in a bathing system.
yeah, that's important.
I just think it should you should be combining it with the hypo conditioner and selling that as a package to groomers to have on hand
Yeah,
for those dogs that are super sensitive or people that are super sensitive and just use it.
I always say, yeah, I always say, good groomers have a good arsenal stock, right?
Right.
I have this one if this happens. I have this if I get this kind of dog. I got this if I got this kind of dog. So you're right. True Tearless is one of those things that you need, and it's probably and you guys are right. It's probably it's in the top. It's in the top five. It's just no dye, no fragrance. It's a simple shampoo.
But it works.
But it's not super simple. It's kind of a combination. It's a kind of a medium complex to me. Super simple is something like Le Pooch, uh, where everything has the same five ingredients. And we don't do that. Excuse me. Anyway, do you know that I'm not as supportive of the chlorhexidine usage as I used to be?
Oh, I didn't know that. You think it's overused?
We haven't had that conversation. Well, it's sort of like, do you remember the triclosan?
Absolutely.
Well, chlorhexidine kind of falls into that same thing. If it's overused and misused, it has the ability to create superbugs that are resistant to it and resistant to other microbials. And so I just think groomers need to be more selective at when they use the Soothe shampoo or a chlorhexidine shampoo. There should be a definite reason, not just a supposition or not just because they smell bad.
Right. You don't want it to be an all-purpose
Right.
shampoo. If you're using it as an all-purpose shampoo, maybe consider something
See,
else.
some groomers do. They don't want to think it through, and so they just use the chlorhexidine. I use it on everybody. Like, no, don't do that.
Right. I'd agree with that. And as we know, in hospitals, they use it as Q scrub before surgeries, births. There's chlorhexidine everywhere. So they add to the
I
overuse.
know, especially since they removed triclosan from some of those things.
Right.
Anyway, that's where I'm at with that. I think that we need to be a little more judicious about the use of antimicrobials.
Oh, I agree.
And
I couldn't agree more.
it might be good to follow it with an oatmeal conditioner because oatmeal is a prebiotic and you can restore the friendly bacteria that are keeping the bad bacteria at bay.
Hmm.
So you want to work with the microbiome. So this microbiome thing is I'm big on that now.
You could go even like tea tree oil. At sometimes I'm a big fan of tea tree oil. I use our treatment shampoo on my own head. Maybe that's why my hair
Yeah.
is straight. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But I
might
use
be
treatment.
might be why it's blonde.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I love it. It makes my whole head feel great, like tingly, lovely, fresh. I just love the feeling. But treatment or teach any tea tree oil shampoo has its benefits where you might think you need chlorhexidine, but maybe you can stop and think there's other, like you said, oatmeal. There might be tea tree oil. There might be something else that you can maybe intersperse.
Yeah.
I like to mix it up. I carry like 14 different shampoos. Like you were saying, you want to have a big arsenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a toolbox. It's a toolbox. They're liquid tools.
Yeah, and I've always said all of us shampoo manufacturers, we all make good products. And you can cherry pick what you want to have a very good arsenal. And I always remembered what Barbara Bird said to me when I first met her. And I repeat it over and over, it's hard to clean a dog with twigs and berries.
I like that.
I will never, never forget that. And I use it constantly because when people say, as you know, they want an all natural shampoo, right? They say, I want an all natural shampoo. And my first response to them is, well, you can do that. There is something that you could do for that. But I don't aspire to it because it's hard to clean a dog with twigs and berries.
The GroomPod and Precision Sharp would like to invite you to check out the newest precise cut shear called Lynx. Its patented design features a thumb ring that slides the length of the handle for perfect ergonomic placement of your thumb. Slide it, lock it into place, and get your best grooms on. Check it out at precisionsharp.com. If you haven't found Groomore, you're missing out. Groomore is an all-in-one software solution for your grooming business. Whether you are a solo mobile groomer or manage several shops, Groomore has everything you need. 24-hour online booking and forms, routing, credit card processing, reminders, Google Calendar and QuickBooks integration, and so much more. And the best customer service anywhere. Shop mobile or house call, Groomore has you covered. And they're giving us a free month. Just enter GroomPod22 in the coupon code.
Hyponic has 35 botanicals in their everyday shampoo. 35 friggin' botanicals.
Wow.
I don't get it. Why do they think that's going to sell? I guess it does, or they wouldn't keep doing it. But, like, whoa there. Anything over 5 is too many.
Well, I think that brand in particular is made in
Japan.
Japan. Yeah.
They got all these Chinese medicine botanicals in there, but like you wouldn't have a drop of any one of them, any one of the 35 in 2 ounces of shampoo that you might use.
Well, yeah, and groomers, as we know, love to dilute. So it's becoming minuscule at that point, right?
Right.
When you're stretching, if it's a 32 to 1 or a 16 to 1 or whatever you're doing, even if you're just bathing a dog, when you get it wet, you're starting the dilution process. So you have to wonder, well, what's in it and what goes on it.
So, what made you decide to sell?
Well, I'm tired. I've worked really hard, and it's 27 years, and I'm tired. And my husband's been retired almost 5 years now, so it's time. People have always said, they're like, "Oh, when are you going to retire, Sandy? When are you going to retire?" And my answer to them was, I like what I do. I get up and I go to work, and I like going to work because I like what I do. So I've been very lucky. But I want to leave what I do while I still like it.
Is it like a kid going to college rather than a funeral for your business? I mean, you're gonna still be involved.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you're I'm letting it go, but I'm still in it. And by just that, as you guys know, somebody's got to do the books, somebody's got to do the accounting, somebody's got to manage the money, you've got all these, you have HR issues and all that other stuff. And over time, imagine if you didn't have that and you could just focus on product development, right?
Yeah.
What would there be? So that's the difference in what I'm doing is like all the clerical and all that stuff is being shifted away. And we have people at show season that do that, but it's being taken care of by somebody else now. And so I can clearly see, like, oh, maybe we need to continue that project, Barbara. Maybe we need to do this. But it's time. I've worked hard, and it's time.
You do a thing that's really unique in the industry, and it happens right before Groomed in Atlanta, and it's the tent
Yeah,
sale, and it's really a cool
yeah.
event. How did you come up with that?
Honestly, the uh when the it was the Atlanta Pet Fair, and then so when it was the Atlanta Pet Fair, and then the WPA bought it from Ann, they decided that they had 2 days of setup, which I'd never seen before. So at Super Zoo and all their shows, you have 2 whole days to set up. Well, I live in Atlanta, so the show's here in Atlanta. So I thought, you know what, I should invite some groomers to the warehouse to just see if they want to do some shopping here prior to visiting our booth at the pet fair or groomed. And so I just came up with this idea of a tent because I actually rented a tent and it was out in the parking lot.
I
And
remember.
great idea, but the name stuck. And but now it's inside the warehouse, which is much better because if it rains, right?
Right.
Um, and so I thought it was more of an opportunity for groomers to come, and then they might want to see how their shampoo's made. They might want to see that Sandy's not really making it in her garage, which a lot of people think, and then they're like, wow, look at this. This is where it's made. And that goes a long way. Whenever you get to see something made, be it a donut at Krispy Kreme, or if you see, a chef making you dinner, it's kind of
It
cool.
is very cool. I love the idea. I love the concept. I love going there and being on the floor. And this is the real deal.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the machines.
So, are you still going to have the tent sale?
Yes. Yes.
So, this coming March, we can count on a tent sale.
Yeah, there's going to be a tent sale, and Groomers Mall will be back here, and we're going to be doing the same things that we're doing. We've got Utsumi coming. Allie's busy working on other stuff, but yeah, it's the day before the group. It's the same thing. It's March 12th.
It offers people a fantastic opportunity to come in and bulk buy and see things that you might not get to see uh, when you go to a show, because it's really a chore to get all the stuff to a booth in a show in another state maybe across the country, like for instance, our Pacific Northwest show. It's just a lot of work, it's an expense. And this way, everything is already there. They don't have to go anywhere. They just come in the door,
Right.
shop the shelves, learn about. Plus, you feed everybody and you give great seminars. Barbara and I have been invited twice. It's been so much fun. So you get learning opportunities and learning for free, I might add. Who doesn't like that? That's what
Yeah.
the GroomPod's about, is learning for free. Yeah, so very cool.
Yeah, I want to. It's important that's become, and it gets bigger and bigger each year, and it's something that I want to continue. And it's such a relaxed atmosphere
It
too for
is.
me myself, because when you guys have seen our booth at trade shows, it can be very busy, and I'm more of what can I get you, how can I help you, answer your questions and that type of thing. But at this one, where they're here and they ask about a product, you actually get to talk about it, and it's a relaxed, and nobody's really in a hurry. They're looking, it's very relaxed, and then they meet other groomers, and it's a different type of
Not to
experience.
mention great deals without having to ship it.
There are great
Yeah, you
deals.
can, or
Yeah.
flat rate shipping. You did that for us. Yeah, it's
Yeah, we flat rate.
really fun. Plus, for my own benefit, all of the scents available are all on the shelves and the racks, and you can just spray smells into the air to your
Yeah,
heart's content. I was in that aisle probably for an hour playing with all the scents.
I know.
I know, and I was waiting to go to the bathroom, and you didn't come back to push me in there.
Sorry
Well,
about that.
I should have known it was the fragrance lane that you were in.
I love it.
But yeah, thanks for asking about that. We're on, definitely on, and I look forward to it every year.
So, what's your hope for the future for the company?
I think that my hope is we'll continue to come out with different innovative products. I want to focus on innovative and different. We trend, right? The products tend to trend. Like, you look at Donna Walker and Lisa Vella, and they came out with something called the blueberry facial. Nobody was like, what is that? Those things are still around. They just haven't been discovered yet. So I think that's our purpose.
I'd like to see some innovation in packaging. Groomers put so much plastic into the waste basket. I just would love to see more attempts at doing bars, powders, concentrates, whatever, ways to kind of reduce the plastic thing.
Yeah.
Every time I see one of those pictures of the ocean, I think I see some of my bottles going down the getting ready to choke
Yeah, well,
away it.
there's a company called Blue Land, which makes sheets of surfactants.
Ah,
Okay, and you
yeah,
actually drop them
yeah,
in water and you
yeah,
create something, right?
yeah.
But they're shipped in a box, a recyclable box, and you constitute them. And that was a Shark Tank product.
I've used those kind of things on in the laundry with mixed results.
And we've talked about them on this show.
And we've talked about it on the show. Yeah, I try to look out for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's the future. I think you're right. That's going to be the future, because not only because when you ship water, it's heavy, right?
Yeah.
So if you can reduce output of carbon emissions getting it to the groomer, that's something too.
Yep.
And I always used to tell people I sell water.
It's true.
Well, you
As you
do.
know,
Yeah.
every manufacturer, shampoo manufacturer, sells water.
Right.
It's what we got in it making the difference and that kind of thing. But a lot of it, and it's Pantene's, doesn't care what brand it is, Suave, whatever you're using on your own hair or whatever, that's got water in it too. So we're all big users of water.
And we all have water mostly in our grooming shops and at our house. So why are we paying to ship it?
Already, yeah. And that's why, these ultra high dilution products that a lot of these good manufacturers make are good, because you're able to ship once and get 115 bass, or you're able to get that kind of thing. So the high dilution, like we have one that's 84 to 1, and it's a half ounce per gallon. So it's, we don't make that product with any water. So it's a concentrate. And I don't even sell it to an individual pet owner because they don't know how to dilute.
No, right.
Funny stories are when I get a phone call and they got a hold of an 84 to 1 gallon and they're like, well, how do I dilute that? And I go, well, first of all, you shouldn't be using that. That's a professional product. And I said, then we have to start thinking about parts. Go get a cup, right? And then we're going to do one of these cups to 84 of that, and it's kind of funny trying to help the individual pet owner use that. And it's you're on with them for an hour and they just don't get it, but groomers get it right away.
I like system. I really appreciate that it's not viscous. And the
Right.
only thing that drives me a little batty about it is that it's still pretty foamy.
Oh yeah,
Could cut the foam on that.
it is foamy, and it was not designed to be not foamy, but it was designed to be liquid, like you said, where it would automatically, doesn't matter the temperature, if you're in South Dakota or you're in Minnesota in winter, your shampoo is going to easily dilute because it's already viscous. So yeah, that's something where that's a good idea to make it less
Yeah,
foamy.
it's
But as we know, who equates foam with clean? Not necessarily it. We all know that, but the basis, we're like, oh, how could it be cleaning if it's not foamy, right?
absolutely. The other product that I love is the one that you made with Barbara, and that's Results Rinse. And I don't think enough people know about Results Rinse because it's pretty magical.
It is, and it's a conditioning alternative that you can, as Barbara knows, you can add into your grooming routine when you need it. It's not to be used all the time, but it's again another professional product, right? That only groomers should know how to use and maybe show people. When Barbara came out with it, well, it was I don't know how many years ago, 20 something years ago. You had a certain groomer and they learned about it and they used it, but the young groomers don't really know about it.
We scream about it regularly.
Sniff, do you know that they've come out with an acidifier that they use as a blow drying aid?
Uh-huh.
They charge like $64 a gallon
Ooh,
and they're sold out.
yeah,
I mean, 64, can you imagine? That is not an expensive product to make. It's just a little bit of wizardry.
right. Well, it's a little, but that results rinse is, and a lot of people call it rinse results. Doesn't matter what you call it. I know what you're saying. Is acidifying magic.
Right,
It really is. And you were on the forefront of that, and you wanted to give groomers a way that they could get a crisp coat.
right.
You wanted to, well, you had Bichons at the time, right?
Oh, yeah, that was when I was heavy into my Bichon period.
That's right. And you were like, I need something so that I can scissor these coats.
Yeah,
And I want it to stand up. I want to go crunch, 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 crunch through the coat. And I want it to be an alternative, and I want it to maybe add to the little pop of color, helps the color, makes the whites whiter, and it's easy on the skin, the pH of the skin. You did it. You came out with a great product. The only thing is as you know, acidifying rinses don't smell great out of the bottle, but once you dilute them,
yeah,
you get rid of that smell.
right.
For a mobile groomer, it's amazing conditioning without adding any weight
Correct.
and makes the dogs dry
It
faster.
does.
So,
It's the original dry faster juice.
and it works great. Barbara, anything else you want to chat with Sandy about while we have her?
I think I'm out. I think I'm done.
Well,
Sandy, anything you'd like to say to our massive amounts of
well,
followers?
I just want to say thank you to the groomers. You guys have been amazing. I've loved going to trade shows and seeing you guys. It's great to put face with names. The people that I've met, I listen. The people ask me, well, how do you come up with new products? And I go, I listen. You tell me what you want. I listen. And then when you guys speak, I listen. I know I sound like an E.F. Hutton commercial, but It is you guys, you're on the front lines and you need stuff, and I would through the years I'd listen and we'd come out with it, and I
And,
thank you for that.
like, I don't want to end on this note, but I just was wondering, what was your worst experience at a trade show?
Oh,
Did you have a clusterfuck moment?
yeah. Oh, trailer tires blowing. That's awful. And we did that in Chicago. In Florida, on the way to Fun in the Sun, we popped another trailer tire, and Dave was changing the tire and got his hand caught underneath it. So we had to go to the emergency room to get him
Oh,
stitched up. So that was, and that was just, those are the, that was a long time ago, but it was just me and Dave driving to Fun in the Sun. So it was set up and everything was us, but Dave had to do it one handed, and he did it.
ah,
So there's those stories on the road stories, and then there's also horrible hotel stories where I had a bubbling toilet and it was overflowing in the middle of the night. And the staff, this was in New Jersey at Intergroom, and the staff came up, were pounding on our door at 3 a.m. and they said, "Your toilet's overflowing, your toilet's." And Dave and I get up and we get out of the bed and we go splash. It is flooded
Oh,
everywhere in our room. And we had our suitcases up on the racks and everything, and they moved,
oh,
but they blamed us for putting something in the toilet, like a block, like a cup, not what you think it is, but they thought we did it on purpose so that we wouldn't have to pay for the room.
wow.
Why would I purposely do that, then go to sleep and then have the toilet erupt and flood where underneath the bed and everything? Who does that to get a free room? And I don't know if somebody had done it prior to me, but that was pretty bad. And then I had to get up, and Dave and I had to move rooms, and then we had to get up with no sleep and then do the trade show. So that was rough.
Ooh, that is rough.
that was a bad no. What was one of your high points?
I think the high point was when people would say would they love being in our booth because of the energy we project.
Ah,
That was, and that's a constant for me. People are
was
always
that
telling me your
when
booth
Donna
project.
and
Yeah,
Lisa
Lisa
were
and
working the booth with
all
you?
of us in the booth,
Yeah,
we just don't. There's no kind of like time. We're always up, and we like seeing people, and it's noticed, and that means the world to me. That's my high points.
right.
What do you want us to remember about show season?
Just the name, just the name, the show season, and the legacy of caring. What we did. Like I said, what's in it is on it.
Integrity, integrity, integrity.
Yeah, we were kind of pioneers in that, and I thank Barbara for that because I wanted to be transparent. And when you're transparent, people will say, "Well, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad."
Then you have ingredient police,
Right,
self-made ingredient police. They come by and they don't like your preservative.
right,
Who likes any preservative?
right. And then I'm like, "Well, you need it because you guys dilute it, so you got to have it, and you gotta." And anyway, that's just standing firm to that.
Oh man, I love you.
As a recipient of your sponsorship, the podcast as a whole, and me personally, we're just very grateful for everything you've done for the industry, and especially for us on a personal level. You treated us like royalty every time we've come to visit, and you have always been such a great support for the show. I can't thank you enough for letting me be part of your world, letting us be part of your world, and continuing on. Thank you, Sandy.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are rocking it, and you guys are both of you pioneers in the podcast, the grooming podcasts. You should win the Barkley Honors every year.
Well, we get nominated.
That's as good as it's going to get. I'm okay with that. I've accepted it. It's fine. We won it once. I would have liked to have given Barbara a medal too, but I'm keeping this one. So
You guys, like I said, you deserve it every year. They should have a category for repeats okay, here's the repeat, and then here's the new people. These guys get a medal just because they sustain, right? And they do,
Right.
they perform, right? There should be some sort of category like that.
Well, we'll just have it in our hearts. How's that? Okay, well, thanks for being here,
thanks, guys.
everybody. And happy grooming. We'll see you next time on the GroomPod. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
And don't forget, we love you.